Hello Team FD and welcome back to Team Talk, the show where we bring the Football Daily WhatsApp chat to life. Joining us in the chat this week, it is Eddie Howe's best mates, Patrick Van Straten.
Hey! Fresh trim as well, come on.
Yeah, it's looking
looking good.
sharp, mate. It's Captain Headloss, Sam Obaseki.
Hey.
Book.
Captain and owner.
Change my title though, man. Come
Already
on, man.
already lost his
I
head.
deserve more than that.
Guys attempting to pile on Sam before the show had even started. All right, I am watching and points will be deduced for bullying.
Thank you, ref.
Okay. Sky Sports Cheese, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good,
Like
thank
the
you.
Celtic shirt.
Looking a little bit wham, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Don't
You going
gas it.
gym?
Thanks.
Oh, blimey. Talking of wham. Zap. Does that deal still stand even though Chelsea don't?
Zach 10. Use Zach
At the
10.
moment, come on,
please
Zap.
use, Zap 10 at
Zach
the
10,
checkout.
not Zach 10.
I
Zach 10.
can't remember the code is. I'm not getting paid to put it
Zach
on
10.
this, so don't
They're
matter.
not paying anyone right now, I think.
As you may have noticed, we've just run back the lineup from the previous episode, and that kind of makes a mockery of
does,
the
mate.
objective of this show, which is to stay in the chat. Whoever gets the least points at the end of the show is supposed to get kicked out. It's not happened once yet.
I'm not meant to be here. Didn't I lose us?
Yeah.
And I still had to come to this. Christ alive.
Now, the loser of the show can only get voted back in on future episodes by you guys at home. So I know it's not happened, but keep getting in the comments because one day it will happen. When the show becomes a little bit more regular, we'll adhere to our own rules. Right, let's get stuck into the first round. It's a new round, and I do like it, if I don't say so myself. Round one then is called The Rule of One. And like I said, it's another new round, and we won't rest until we find the perfect concoction for this show. Basically, I'm going to give you 3 names, and you have to start one, sell one, bench one. Okay?
I like that.
And in order to get the points, you have to convince me that your order is the best order. Okay, not one another, because that's round 2. Now, I'm not looking for the most obvious answer here. I'm looking for the most impassioned defense of your list. All right?
Okay.
So I want some fireworks.
Interesting.
And the 3 genres today are past, present, and future. Let's start with past then. You've got 30 seconds to decide your order. Henry.
Henry.
Leave it in. Minus 1 point for me. Right, Thierry Henry, Shearer, and Rooney. You've got to start one, sell one, bench one.
Oh, okay.
Just to clarify, not Henry that works at Football Daily. That is Thierry Henry.
Oh my gosh.
This is one of the hardest things I've ever heard.
Right, this is just,
I can't remember how to spell Shearer. Done. I'm set.
I'm going to get ripped for this. I can feel
This
it
is
already.
tough.
Are we all good?
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to reveal our orders? 3, 2, 1, flip. Oh, start Rooney. I've seen a lot of Roonies.
Oh my God.
Henry has to start. Are you mad?
That's probably the worst thing.
Okay.
I've
Are
ever
you
seen.
actually mad?
Do you want me to explain it?
If you want to assassinate each
Do you
of
want
his
me to
orders,
explain it?
now is the time.
Okay, the reason I've said sell Henry is I think he's got the biggest value. I think he's.
Are we going to have that?
I think he's the best player of the 3. So I
Not
think
an angle
Yes,
I
well,
saw
you-
playing
I think
out
he's
on
the
this
best player
round.
But why are you trying to
Joe
make?
Henry.
Why are you trying to make
This isn't
money
how
as
to
opposed
fix a
to
club,
have a
bro.
best team?
I think he's the best player of the 3. So I'm going to sell him, take all my money, and then I'm going to put it into the rest of the squad.
Into what squad are you talking
But you
about,
could
bro?
have
This
Thierry
is-
Man United.
who would
I thought
make
it
your
was
team
Man
good.
United.
We're not having that.
But imagine Henry up front for Man United. One of the coolest
sure.
player ever to play football.
I agree,
Most
I agree,
one of
but
the most
Look what
iconic
Man
players of
United
all
have
time.
done to
He's
it.
got the best value. He's got the best value of the
That's
3.
not
Yeah,
the
but you
aim
want
of
to
the
be the
game.
best team. Like Man United are not competing to build a team from 6th to 1st. They were like
Well, yeah,
the best team. You
But
want
we
the
can-
best player.
We can sell Henry for the best
This
value.
is them in their
But you're going to
prime,
give him
right?
to a better time.
No one mentioned Man United. This is just personal preference. Why are you trying to make money in this round?
I don't know. I thought that was the aim.
I'll be
No,
honest, this
that
doesn't
wasn't
really
the
make
aim.
sense. They're all the same age in this scenario.
Is
like,
it their
what's going
prime?
on
It's their
here?
prime, innit?
Let's go prime then.
I mean,
Yeah, it has
to-
if
You want a
we're
bit
not,
of
if we're not
consistency.
like
It's
tough.
doing it
Henry
to
has
make
to
money
start.
and create a team, then Henry is obviously starting, isn't he?
Oh no,
okay.
Rooney's still. Oh, I've also
No.
spelled Rooney wrong. I've not
Henry
forgotten
starting.
Rooney. Yeah, Rona. No,
Rooney,
Rooney
right.
starts for me,
Okay.
man.
Why have you
Listen.
got like an off-brand Rooney?
I want to know why you've put Rooney top then, and we'll come to Pat
Well,
afterwards.
really recently, I've watched a documentary based on Wayne Rooney, and oh my god,
He was a
His-
superstar.
About
some
him.
of his early stuff he was doing was ridiculous. I did not quite realise how good of a player Wayne Rooney was, especially when he was first coming through at Everton, very early on in his Manchester United career. Obviously, he was still very, very good as well throughout his career. But watching that just made me think, God, this guy had all the talent to have become maybe the best player in the world, and obviously he didn't do that.
So you're starting him.
So I'm starting him, but just because if we're talking about that prime, what things he was doing when I watched back, I think there was a game against Portugal.
He wasn't even in his prime there, though, was he?
Well, exactly, but he was still ridiculous.
You've watched a documentary. You've fallen in
It's
love with
more
Rooney
recent,
again.
yeah,
This is a
exactly.
little bit heart overhead. I respect
Henry's
it.
not starting on everyone's board.
He is.
He's on my bench, though.
Henry is probably the most complete striker we've seen in the Premier League.
Well, why do you play left wing then?
Nice punchy
Bro,
style.
I think he's
let's actually be honest. He is the most complete striker we've
didn't
seen.
play left wing.
In his prime, he was playing up top, bro. He was getting 20 goals,
Yeah,
20 assists.
but we've
All
all,
right,
that's why we've all
No,
put
but Rooney
Henry
was not getting 20
then,
goals and 20 assists, bro. Rooney was the player that was actually being moved out of position to cater for a
And
striker.
still did it
or-
fantastically
Yeah, he done
well
that well,
every
but that's
single
not
time.
happening to Henry. Like that's
Yeah, because
that's
he
the
can't do
reality.
anything else.
He literally can.
just
What are
said
you
he
talking
made- he
about?
just
He
said
got
he
20
made-
assists.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
still
yeah,
he's
yeah,
still
yeah,
got the
now.
assist record
Oh, gosh.
Henry is the best player,
by a long way.
but Rooney has the best longevity.
Yeah, so
of
that's
any
why
of them.
Rooney
Actually,
bench.
Henry had pretty good longevity in the Premier League.
Yeah, 'cause he
he
went
was
to
like the top
MLS.
scorer in Europe 3 seasons in a row. Like he was the top assister and the top scorer in the Premier League at the same time. He also then, when it looked like he should be done, went to Barcelona and won everything.
Yep.
Like, he also is the only player here who has won every single trophy that the game has to offer.
Yeah.
Won the Euros, won the World
There's
Cup,
no
won the
doubt. That's
Champions
why,
League.
that's
Go
why
Pat.
he starts. But I still, longevity-wise, I would still take Rooney from 18 to 34. I would still take Rooney's
I think
career
that's
in terms of
reasonable, but I do
longevity
think-
season on season.
But Sam has made a good point, though, which is like Rooney at his best. One of his greatest qualities was his ability to maximise other players.
Other
Yeah.
forwards.
You know, whether it was Van Nistelrooy, whether
No
it was Berbatov, whether it was Ronaldo. Whereas Henry or Shearer, by themselves, I think makes your team pretty damn good. Henry's certainly by himself because
But
he
you're
was,
saying
he
Wayne
was-
Rooney by himself isn't making the team incredibly good.
I suppose that's a fair point, but I guess that I would base my team around the other two in a way
But
that
are
with
you not
Rooney,
just
I'd be
saying-
like, well,
He's a-
I
he-
probably
he's
need
almost-
someone else.
He's
to
almost
base
a
it around.
victim of his own mentality in it because realistically he was humble enough to play in other positions, yeah. But at the same time, because of that and the fact that he catered for other strikers, I think with these three players, it has to be Henry.
Yeah, it
then
has to be Henry.
Rooney bench, and then just the fact that Shearer didn't play.
I also think we've not seen enough of Shearer to
We did-
really
see,
I've
respect
got-
what
we
he's
did-
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I remember
agree.
Shearer, and Shearer is like you can look at the numbers now. Shearer is the best pure goal scorer in Premier League
100%.
history, and that's
100%.
despite the fact that in his like yes, he had longer seasons earlier on, but there was also a year in his prime that he completely sat out with a knee injury. He sat out a whole season
And still did
like
that.
in his prime, and he was playing for Newcastle, who don't get me wrong, were good then, but they only once got close to winning the league. The rest of the time they didn't. Like he managed to win the league with Blackburn as well,
Yeah,
which
but you can't
which
penalise Rooney for playing for a better team than Shearer.
That's-
no,
and
but
that's the
no,
thing.
but I'm saying it's a mark of how good a goal scorer Shearer was. If we had an elite team and we parked Shearer up top or Rooney up top, I think Rooney would be much more fun to watch. And my heart, to a degree, says Rooney. But who would score more goals? It would be Shearer.
But who would be the best? Who would be the best sale of all three of them?
But it doesn't
But
matter.
it's not
You're not
about
making
that.
money.
I'm thinking
It
about
would
it
be
from
Henry.
the thing
Right,
is,
we're
moving
starting
on.
someone,
Why do you
we're
think we're trying
benching
to sell
someone. So why
No,
would
but
we
have
want
you
to
Yeah, but
sell
our
someone?
aim isn't to get the biggest sale.
Sale's
It's
not the
to,
worst
it's
one
to
of the
like
three, essentially.
bag
Lads,
the players.
It's to start who you would start. In your
Lads,
team.
we're moving
Bench.
on.
I'm not selling Henry.
Points for everyone except Joe in that round. Okay, let's go
Okay.
to present. That got a little bit messy. Salah, Kane, Benzema. You've got two. Start one, sell one, bench one. Let's go. We're going to make this mega quick.
This is tight, man.
So again, I kind of want to apply my previous logic. Who's
right.
going to make the most money?
Oh, well then yeah.
The money
we might be
doesn't
on the same
matter.
page.
Right, 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Okay, who do I want to hear from first?
Selling Benzi.
Well,
Zach has gone the most
I've-
off piece.
that is
I
crazy,
started
bro.
Harry Kane.
Are you the only one that's to start Harry Kane? Okay, let's go with you then
That
as a
is a-
starting point.
How
I
long?
think, of course, Mohamed Salah is a fantastic player.
best
And he
player
was
in
the
the
one
world
that
right
was,
now.
he was the one that, and yeah, I completely agree, 100%, I completely agree. But out of Harry Kane's whole career, he's been it well since he's got into Spurs' first team and since he was very, very young.
But this is right now, not
He's
career-wise.
fantastic.
Wait, let him finish.
Yeah,
let
but
him
that
finish.
is no. This is present. These are present players that are playing football today. And Harry Kane, when he's on it, is the best striker in the world.
When he's
But-
on it.
Nah,
When
you-
he's on it, for
when
sure.
he's on it.
For sure, I completely agree. And
Salah's
he's been
less
playing,
injury
but he's also
prone,
been
like-
playing in a much worse team than all of these players.
So
than
your
the other
rationale is
team
like a
players as well.
slightly diluted version of the last section where we said, okay, let's pick them at their prime, you're going, this strike,
100%.
You're
When Harry
always
Kane
on their
is-
best day.
Exactly. When Harry
Right,
Kane
okay.
is on it, he is the best
No,
player
but
on the
even
pitch. He's the
when
best
Salah's
striker
on it,
in the
he's
world.
I
the best
agree.
player in the world. He literally the
Has
last
to be
4
starting
seasons.
Salah.
The last 4 seasons, he scored over 20
Look,
goals.
I think
He is the best player in the world.
I think right now I completely agree. But I think if you're comparing the best day for Harry Kane, the best day for Mohamed Salah, I think Harry Kane edges it.
It's ballsy. It's
And
ballsy.
you know,
And I think
and you
that's
know,
That
and-
is
And I
bananas.
think
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
that's
Kane on
the
his
thing.
best day still needs service. Salah just doesn't. He can do it by himself.
Didn't get any service against Man City, though, when
And
he
we
tore
have to
them
talk
apart.
about the
Yes, yeah.
stages.
He
that
did. He
they-
had
and
loads
we-
of space, and they were able to get passes through lines.
And we have to talk about the stages that they've played on
I
as well.
think that is
Like
massive.
realistically, Kane, I've not seen
It's not like,
him
but it's
show
not like
up.
Kane didn't want. It's not like Kane tried to move.
No, but no, I'm saying in terms of Salah, yeah, we've seen him turn up in the Premier League. He's won Liverpool their first league in how many years?
Yeah.
Champions League in how many
Sure.
years
Got
as
a
well?
point.
Kane's
Does
got,
have a bit
got-
of help.
Yeah, he's had help, but he's been their best player. He's been
Yeah,
the
I
best
completely
player
agree.
in the league during that time. He's not a striker, let's not forget, and he's still bagging, if not
Plays
more
as an
goals than
inside forward.
Kane. But still, at the
Yeah.
same time, he's bagging goals week in, week out.
It has
No,
to.
no,
has
I
to be
don't
Salah.
get me
Salah
wrong.
has
I
to start.
agree.
Not great.
I
in
agree that
international
he
tournaments,
is.
in my opinion.
The only reason that I've got
Kane's
slightly
getting
different,
sold.
the only
Not
reason
gonna
I've got
lie.
slightly
Neither
different to
really
you
was Mohamed
two
Salah.
Got to the final.
is originally I had Kane in the Cell thing because again, very good value. I think probably the best value.
Very good value.
Best value of the three.
I didn't
Salah's
have you
contract's a
pegged
bit
for this
lower.
kind of
I know.
director of football.
Well,
It's
show the
just
bank
like,
of Tomlinson.
The only reason-
He'd be ruthless.
The only
Yeah,
reason
just
I've got
selling
Benzema
everyone.
in a
Best player, get
cell.
out, mate.
The only reason I've got Benzema in a cell is because he's older.
Okay.
Okay, but
And
if we're
also
talking
peak-wise-
but if we're talking but you can't say that because
Are you
if we're
telling
talking-
me?
if we're
Are
talking-
you
weird
telling me
time.
peak
If we're
wise
talking-
Benzema is
we're
better
talking-
than Harry Kane?
Yeah, you're
That's
talking
difficult, though,
You're
'cause
talking
Benzema's
present.
peak
You're
was
talking
felt.
present now, yeah.
Peak is less relevant with this section.
So for you
Okay,
now,
I would-
that's
that's what I'm
And
saying.
Benzema spent the
For me-
prime
for
of
me
his
right
career
now,
catering to
if
Ronaldo and
I'm
Bale.
looking at Benzema and Kane, I'm taking Benzema.
Really?
Yes, just because. And this is if we're going off of this season alone, Kane started poor.
So for
Ben-
Chelsea,
if
you
we-
can
wait,
offer
wait,
either of them a
wait,
5-year
Ben-
contract now.
if-
You go to Benzema.
No, that's not the. We're not. That's
Why
not
are you
the conversation.
overcomplicating
Hey, we need
the
to set-
prerequisite for all
Bro,
this?
Take away the 5-year
if we're talking right now, I'm not talking about
The
the
age is
age.
to do
I'm
with
not
it, isn't
talking.
it?
No,
Okay,
it's
yeah,
not. I'm not
that's
talking
fine.
about their age. We're talking about present. How well they're
Yeah.
playing right now. Yeah, you cannot tell me that Kane has had a better season than Benzema.
No,
Benzema
no,
has
but I-
literally.
yeah.
Personally, I've not
Benzema has
taken
literally-
present as this season.
No, but he said present. So if we're going present, then it has to be Salah. Then bench has to be Benzema.
Present is just
because
players
he's the
that are playing
second-
today.
To be honest with you, I actually think the season Benzema's having is like a season Harry Kane's had 2 or 3 times. Like,
Yeah,
I
but-
don't get me wrong. I think Benzema's an amazing player.
But
I
last
think he deserves
season,
credit
he had
for
a
what
great
he's
season
done
as well.
over his career. Well, yeah, but like a few years ago, he didn't have it. You don't remember that season we got like 7 goals and Harry Kane got like 30. Like, obviously, it's difficult because he played in a team where he was catering to other people in a way Kane wasn't. For me,
Yeah.
I'm getting Kane out of my club. 1, because I was thinking about
Money.
but 2,
Yeah.
I just despise him. I just don't want.
I do respect that.
I
If
don't
you're
want
gonna
him at
do
my
respect
club.
the
I
biggest
don't
value
want
is
him at my
Kane
club.
on
I
the
think
list.
he's a cheat.
But we're
I
not
don't
talking.
want
I'm
him
not
there.
talking. I'm not going value.
The
I'm
biggest
not going
value is Kane on the list, but I think you've got to set, if you've got to pick one. I've again obviously overcomplicated this clearly, but if I'm
You're offering out 5-year
if I'm
contracts
planning-
over it.
if I'm planning for a team, and Benzema and Kane are on the table now,
Right now, you're
Take
talking
Kane.
about.
for Manchester United,
If
I'd
you-
take Kane.
I'd take
Okay,
Kane.
if you're talking
You take Kane,
for,
he'd
the,
take
for the
Kane.
rest of the season, you're taking Kane over Benzema.
Oh, for the rest of the
Yeah,
season
for the
right
rest of the
now,
season.
yeah.
But
Kane.
yeah, still.
Why are we
Wait,
putting that
look at
caveat
Kane,
at the
look at
rest
the way
of the
Kane's
season?
playing.
Look at the way Benzema's playing right now. He's literally
But
right
when
with Real
is
Madrid
when
right
is
in
now,
a
the rest of the
shocking
season?
team.
Why can you say the rest of the season, but I can't say the next 5 years?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm taking
Rest
it
of the
as
season
present.
does relate to present a little bit
I'm
more than
taking
the
it
next 5
present. I'm
years.
taking it present.
But even but right,
I'm not
right
talking
now,
about
Harry
their
Kane's
ages. If we're
playing
talking about
amazing.
Right, that's it. We're bringing that round to an end. A point for everyone because we did get impassioned. That was
If we're
the
talking-
prerequisite for this round. Stop.
That's all we got to do.
Future is the last segment. Probably won't be doing this segment again, to be perfectly honest. It's been too combustible. Right,
I really
Pedri,
like it.
Bellingham, Foden. Start one, bench one, sell
Oh my
one.
God, that's tough.
Pedri, Bellingham, Foden.
Okay.
This is tough.
I still
Either
haven't done
way,
it.
Right.
none of this.
How much
five
seconds?
I'm really struggling.
How much
hang on.
money Joe is again gone for value?
I've got a reason for wanting to sell Bellingham. There's mine. Let's reveal. I can reveal mine to start with.
He's just going
He's just
off the
flipped.
rails.
Yeah,
He's gone
his
off the
end
rails,
is
isn't
gone.
he?
Right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, flip.
Foden, Pedri, start. I was very, very 50-50 with starting.
To me,
really
you've got the
hard.
same.
It's
So what are
really
you mocking me
hard,
for?
Yeah.
So sell Bellingham. Let's get him to Man United ASAP.
Yeah, I
Man
knew
United
that.
need a new midfield. Man United desperately need a new midfield for me, and I
No,
think
but if
Bellingham, I
but
would
honestly,
take
if we're
over
going
everyone in that role.
from what you've seen of all of these players, yeah, honestly, not where he would go to United United,
Yeah.
would you still sell Bellingham out of those three?
Yeah, to United.
No, forget that, bro.
But he asked for like personal reasons behind this. It's not just meant to be
fair enough, it's fair enough,
footballing
it's fair
reasons.
enough.
Okay. But this is,
I'm
they
actually
don't
gonna
play in the
change
same position.
Oh,
so
Pat's gonna laugh
obviously,
at it, change it.
Bellingham
Yeah.
is the type of player you need right now.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
if we're
That's
just
why
talking
you
about-
even
Why
sell.
are you selling Bellingham?
I think ability-wise, yeah, from what I've seen from all of these players,
You think Pedri's better than Bellingham?
yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. What I've seen from Pedri, honestly, and I'm going off of not watching them week in week out. I've
sure,
seen
okay,
I've
fair
seen
enough.
I've seen a few snippets of Pedri. I've seen a few snippets of Bellingham. Remember, this is difficult.
It's
They're
not
all
an outrageous
they're all
statement at this
quality. Yeah,
point.
they're all quality players. But what Pedri done for Barcelona, he was key
played
for
so many games
He's played
with
so
them.
many games. Barcelona in their rut, he was their key player. Even now, he's still
Little
integral
Messi,
to their team when they've got De Jong. They've
I
got
think he's
Busquets.
technically
Like,
the second best player. Foden's the best technical footballer on
I
the
think
list.
that's true.
I also
think
think I
Foden-
enjoy
Foden, then
watching
Bellingham.
Foden more out of the three.
Hold on, you've got start Foden, sell Foden.
Yeah.
Enlighten us.
Just a guy.
Foden. yeah. At that point, he was kind of just a guy. He
Yeah.
played like 1,000 minutes, and people were like, "This guy's going to be the best player in the world," and you're like, "But he isn't."
you got
Yeah.
to see that.
Like, but the thing is with Foden, what he is less rare than the others. He's an amazing example of what he is.
Okay.
But actually, young players who have great goal and assist numbers from the wing and are good creative passers are actually not that uncommon. And let's be honest, he still isn't starting all the time for this Man City side.
He started
Does
the last
anyone-
10 games.
Even though his numbers do get juiced by like playing for Man City. Bellingham, what Bellingham is, to be an international class central midfielder at his age is practically unheard of. And then the reason I swapped Pedri around is because Pedri's more like a midfielder as well. And so I kind of wanted my thinking to be consistent.
Bellingham's got the best value.
He's definitely his best
the list.
value. So
Bellingham's
yeah,
the best value.
get him out of the club, 200 mil in.
I'm going to give Joe a
Bang.
point just for the
back into it.
consistency in which he's tried to sell the most
Every
valuable
one star.
player in every single
He
round.
is the most
it's a point for
valuable.
Joe. It's a point for Pat because that was
That English
an
tax.
eloquent,
Don't think I said a
pitch
word.
with regards to starting Bellingham. And you two,
What about my
you just
Pedri?
kind of,
I didn't
sat
get a
back and
second.
watched it.
I didn't get a second to talk.
You
What about
stop.
Pedri?
Yeah, you should have put it in.
So Zach's been punished for having good manners.
Yes.
I
Unbelievable.
spoke
Sorry.
about Pedri,
In
bro.
the true nature of the Football Daily
That's
WhatsApp
the way I
group,
raise
you
it.
have been punished for having good manners. All right, let's move on to round two. Next up then is the debate round, the round that anchors the show. And today's subject is picking a best XI for the upcoming World Cup. A best England XI, I should specify. So the aim is simple in this round. I mean, this show is never simple, is it? Let's have it right. To convince your fellow contestants that your order or your selections are the best selections, right? Best XI in this episode. Now, before we start, I do want to establish that we're going to play a 4-3-3. Even though England have been playing a lot of 3-4-3 lately, when the games looked a little bit more competitive, it's been a 4-3-3. The Midlander came out of me there, big time. Right, okay. So you can pick whoever you like. Capped, uncapped, people that haven't bloody declared for their country. We've just got to form a 4-3-3. How we're going to spice this episode up a little bit is we're going to have a first substitute for midfield and attack. So we're making
Okay, cool.
four
Four
selections
options.
all the
Yeah.
way through. Okay, I mean, you are making 5 with the defence as well because you are picking a goalkeeper, but just forgive us for that at home, okay? Right, let's start with the defence then, okay? So I want you to write down goalkeeper, right back, 2 centre-backs and a left-back. And you got 30 seconds to crank the back 4 out.
Are people going to kill me for one of my centre backs? The thing is, the comments are going to fucking hammer us, or at least me.
What if I don't want England to win the World Cup?
I'll take the saboteur angle. Right,
Bob Holding, get him in.
is everyone ready to flip over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, let's have it. Who are you saying people have
You
murdered
two
you
got
for?
the same ones.
Harry Maguire.
Okay, go
Harry
on then.
Maguire.
So should we start
I-
with the goalkeeper though? Should we start with the goalkeeper and work our way through
Pickford.
it?
Okay, yeah, you guys have all gone Ramsdale. I've gone Pickford.
Let's give Zach the first word because I did punish him for being silent in the last round.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, look, I completely agree. Ramsdale has been the best English keeper this season. I completely agree. I'm also taking the mindset of Gareth Southgate and how he picks his teams, and we know he loves his loyalty. And Pickford for England, I don't think has put a foot wrong in all of his games, and he was been really, really crucial for us to get to the semi-finals of the World Cup previously and the final of the Euros. He also did very well in the penalty shootout as well. It was unlucky to be on the losing side. Ramsdale. If he put the team sheet out and Ramsdale was on it, I wouldn't be that fussed. But I think personally, I'd pick
Okay,
Pickford.
so we're focusing on goalkeeper.
think
That was a respectful interjection. Go on, mate.
So I just think that is a wrong precedent to set as a manager for the amount of years that Southgate has done it in it. Because I can understand you being loyal to a certain amount of players and saying, okay, cool, if you play well for England, then you should get an opportunity. But when Ramsdale is playing so well. And he's not given an opportunity to play in these games.
He's playing well.
No, but he's
also made mistakes
playing
this season. He's also made mistakes
He's
this
playing
season.
considerably better than Pickford. And that's the thing, the confidence that he's showing, also the fact that in my team anyway, he's playing with one of the centre-backs that I picked in White, yeah. That's a relationship already formed. You know, Ultimate Team, when you see the links there and it's all green and that. With Pickford, he's going to go into the tournament and he's going to be a bit dejected. He's not had a great season with Everton. They're in a relegation.
He did that
battle.
He'll be in the Championship.
But that's what I'm saying. 2 seasons in a row, you can't allow that because
But he did that last season and went into the Euros and was brilliant.
If Pickford has the first 2 bad games and it costs us going further in the
What if
competition.
Ramsdale has the two bad
But
games?
we're going. No, but if we're
And
going
he has
off
that in him.
Like,
He's
but
got a bit of the Jordan Pickford in him.
No, but
Ramsdale.
if we're going
He
off of
does.
form, I just
No,
don't
sure.
think we
He's
should.
playing
We
well.
should
But I feel like
I don't
you're-
think we should go off of that all the time because if it backfires, then it's just Southgate's
But
gonna look silly.
both ways it backfires. Say he does start Ramsdale, and Ramsdale has 2 bad games, and everyone's going,
But he
why
has
didn't
more-
he?
he has
Why
more
did he not
reason
start?
to start Ramsdale?
But
because he's playing better.
his more reason for Pickford is he's been brilliant every time he's picked him for England.
But if they played the role in the same way, I'd kind of understand it. But Ramsdale is going to do things Pickford won't.
From
do.
a kicking point of view and passing
but
out the
it's like-
back, I will agree
but
to that.
The personality that he's shown for Arsenal this season, I mean, the way he's willing to invite pressure and then play passes through the lines, that would be so beneficial for England. If you could get if you can get passes from Ramsdale to Rice, you're golden. That's
that
going to make
element
such
I
a
can
big
understand.
difference.
That element he is much better at.
And I
agree.
do think, I do understand what you're saying, but I do think actually Ramsdale is a better shot stopper. He's better in the one-on-one than Pickford. I actually wouldn't say he's got Pickford in him. What I'd say is he's got Edison at his worst in him. You know, when Edison just does like some rogue Ramsdale has that. But he's really young. He's 23.
Yeah.
He's the second youngest regular goalkeeper in the Prem after Melier. So I don't know. Like, I'm not saying he's a perfect player, but I do think at a certain point you've got to stop talking about all this amazing talent that England have and start playing.
Play
it.
them.
And I think
Play
that,
them.
and I think Sam's argument actually about playing White and Ramsdale together is a really sensible one.
Should we move to the back line because the fullback's going to be the same, so don't really need to discuss them
Everyone's got the
today.
same fullback.
Well, what we forgot to establish at the start of this was that if you have, you get herd immunity points. If you've got the same as someone else, if you've got the majority back line, then you'll also get the point. You two have got the same back line, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the moment, unless you guys can convince anyone to change,
I mean,
the
you
points
guys have
are
a
Pat's and Sam's to
very,
lose.
very inexperienced centre-back partnership there.
It's an incredibly
I think that's
brave
4 caps
centre-back partnership.
at
Yeah, but
best.
you've got an incredibly ropey centre-back partnership there.
To
You've
a
got a couple.
degree,
You got a couple
but
of guys
again, I
there
would use
who
the
do
same-
not know their
Maguire
asses
has
from
not
their
been
elbows.
good enough
I-
this year at all.
But I would again use the same statement of for England they have been fantastic.
But we can't keep doing
I
that. That's
watched,
what my point is.
I watched Harry Maguire during and again I completely agree this season he's been poor. But I watched Harry Maguire during the Euros to the final, and he was so important.
He was arguably the best defender of the
He
competition.
was, and that's the thing.
Alongside
I can understand that.
Chiellini
I can
of
understand
the
that. But from that point on, he has not been good enough. He's not even not just been good enough. He's making mistakes leading to goals. He doesn't look comfortable. If he's put back into that position of being the main centre back again, it could go terribly wrong.
It could also go fantastically well.
Off of what we've seen this season alone, I'm not saying
I
Maguire's
don't think you can
I'm
just
not
say.
saying.
I
I'm
don't
not
think you can
saying
just say this season alone because his England
but
time has
I'm
been
not saying-
fantastic as well.
I can hear that, but Maguire has been good for England. He's been
great for England.
I wouldn't go that far.
He's half the reason we got to the final.
He's been okay. He's been good for England, yeah. This season for United, he's not been good enough. You're talking about White and Tomori.
So you want to take someone who's not had really that much experience, is playing in Serie A, which, to be honest, is for most players that are young and physical, is a
it's not
great
just about
league to-
Serie A though, because when Tomori was at Chelsea, he didn't do much wrong. He just wasn't given an opportunity. When he went to AC Milan, we've seen that he's adapted very well. He's played in multiple different partnerships. He's done very well. I've not watched them week in, week out, but from what I've seen, some of the games that I've seen and some of the highlights, bro, he's looking very comfortable.
3 points
England
per
need.
game when he starts.
There's no doubt.
Exactly.
There's no doubt he's playing well and has to be in consideration
Such an
for this.
inexperienced
But
back line,
I
bro.
do not believe you can start 2 players that are having
It's
their
not an
first
inexperienced back line.
senior
for
major
national
breakthrough
football, it is.
season. Like this is White has been good.
Super
White has been good. But like this is his first major breakthrough season at the elite level, and the same with Tomori. To put them both on the pitch at the same time in a World Cup, I think is a recipe for disaster.
Big question: is anyone going to change their mind with their starting lineups? Because if not, you guys are just going to get the point. I'm hearing a lot.
I could change
only really-
Maguire to White.
And I don't.
Yeah, change
I
Maguire
can
to White,
change
then we
Maguire to
both get a
White.
point.
No, you won't, because he's got Pickford and you've got Ramsdale.
Hey.
I could
You'd have to
Maguire
change
to white.
Pickford as well, and then we'd know you're a proper sellout.
I think it's so harsh on John Stones, given he's playing in the best team of any.
I don't
of
think
these
John Stones has been
players
that poor
by a
this season.
margin.
I don't have an
That's all.
issue with Joe putting Stones in, but I do think that this zone
I-
of your defence is
I
shocking.
almost went.
I will
Stones,
change
but I
Maguire.
think these two are a bit better.
I just
Right.
don't know why we're penalising Stones. What's he done wrong?
I would change Maguire.
He's the
That's
third
not
best.
how it
He's the first
works.
best centre back.
Change
I've
Maguire and Keane.
So would
is
White be.
going
I
to-
don't have an issue putting Stones in. I
It's
wouldn't
not
have
the
an
same
issue
though.
putting
It's-
Webster
it's
in.
not- It's literally
Kills you
like
there.
White definitely needs a dominant defender next to him, though, and is Stones that guy? That's the issue. At least Tomori is.
But are you picking-
Tomori is a really solid defensive presence in a way that Stones actually isn't. Stones and White, you could argue, are far too similar to play side by side.
Facts.
And I would pick Stones over White.
Stones has found minutes
Well, that's
very
fair.
hard to come by this season as well.
So
I do.
If White and
it is
Tomori were
his
playing
fault.
for Man City, they would have the
I
same
do
amount of messages on
appreciate
Stones.
how good your back line is at passing it out defence. There's some sensual, very aesthetically pleasing passes going on there. But you guys get the points. We need to move on to midfield. I also just want to see Tomori do this in an England shirt. That'd be class. Round 2 is midfield then. We're playing a midfield 3. I'm not sure I explained it very well at the top of the show. You're going to pick your first 3 midfielders, your starting 3, as well as a sub. Just because I don't feel like 3 is enough to argue over. 4 feels like a nice number. That's why we're doing that. No other strong rationale.
I can't
Okay.
even think of another centre mid for England.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Phillips.
Harvey Elliott.
Young Harvey Elliott, yeah.
Joe, he carried on with his premature flipping. Let's go.
Yeah.
Rice, Bellingham, Mount, Rice, Mount, Bellingham. Please, Rice, Mount, yes.
We're all the same.
Bellingham.
I mean, you lose.
Rice, Mount, I lose. But the show wins.
So what is this?
Hendo.
We have.
Hendo
I forgot
bench.
Henderson.
And
bad,
we're
though.
talking about Phillips has barely
Let him
played.
argue, let him argue.
Phillips
Let
has
him argue.
barely
No, he
played.
hasn't. He played like 3 months of the season. He played 4 months of the season,
Oh, is that
and then
good?
he's going to come back.
Mate,
are
Is
we
it
being
better to
serious?
play? Is it better to play but be like Henderson?
No, wait, Mandem, are we actually being serious
No, I
about
think
Phillips?
Phillips
Yes.
has been injured pretty much the entire season, so it's
No, he
hard to
hasn't.
judge.
He's been injured since the beginning of
majority.
December.
But I think at least if we look, you talked about a minute ago the potential of the back line and how it's going to grow together. Why are we putting 32-year-old Jordan Henderson in who's
Who
struggling?
can't
Who's been
But-
terrible.
But I wasn't saying that those players won't be involved in the team. If you'd given me a substitute, I probably would have put a Maguire or Stones. You've got a substitute here. You're talking about
Go with
three mid-
leadership. Leadership.
I feel like in any game that you can see England struggling or lacking experience, Hendo would be the perfect player to come on.
You shout
in-
from the sidelines.
But these,
Oh, come on,
but
man.
this
Let's
is not
be-
an
let's-
inexperienced
But
midfield.
mate, this
Mount's
was the-
won the Champions
Mate, this
League.
was the
And
starting
Rice
centre
has
back
played every
partnership for the
match
whole of the
years.
Euros where we went to the final, and then we've
These are-
added Bellingham.
And Phillips.
The
hasn't
only one
played-
that-
he's barely played this
Bro,
season. That's
the-
my thing. That's why I didn't even consider.
He hasn't
it.
The only
barely
one you can
played.
say
He
that
has
is,
barely
the only
played.
one you can say that is inexperienced from that midfield is Bellingham, and even
For
he
England,
and
for
even
England, right?
Yeah, for England.
I'm going to give you a point for spicing things up. What of
Thank
it?
you.
What of it? He's
Thank
got a
you.
point.
We're the majority. So
Yeah,
we-
you're all the
We
majority.
had the same, bro.
We all get the point.
Oh, including
didn't.
the sub.
We all did.
Right,
He
yeah. I
did.
can't even follow my own rules.
No, but
You're all getting a point then.
Yay.
Right.
Hendo's
like-
not done though.
We're moving on to the attack. 3 attackers and your first sub, which I will try not to forget about this time when it comes to the majority order. 30 seconds on the clock.
Oh my god, this
Let's
is
go.
tough.
I think we'll all
I
have the
don't
same
think
front
it's
three.
tough, yeah.
I think it's undeniable to have
Really?
the same front
Thanos
three
vibes.
for England.
Right.
Oh, but with the way one of the players are looking at the moment, mate, he could be.
What about
great
sub
by
though?
December.
You got a sub.
Yeah, the sub's a bit more difficult, but
I don't think it is. But
We're
I
ready
know-
to flip?
Wait.
It's actually building the drama
Let's
this
go,
episode.
come on,
No,
yeah.
I haven't got the sub.
hurry
Yet. I haven't
up,
got the
Russ.
sub.
Hang on,
3.
I'm changing my
Joe's got to get to
Um,
Manchester. 3, 2, 1. He's still writing. Late submission. Flip.
Sub is Grealish.
Okay.
Grealish.
You can't play Salah. What does that say?
That
Saka.
says Saka.
Right. Kane.
No,
Sterling.
undeniable.
Saka. Kane. Sterling.
I
Saka.
changed my sub.
Saka,
See,
Kane,
I've-
Sterling, Saka. Foden's your sub. Foden.
It's his sub.
Foden.
3 Foden.
I literally wrote the F4
If
Are we-
you,
are we
if you
identical?
can convince anyone to change to Grealish, you get
Well, they're just
all
not
the
going.
points.
They're just not going to do that, are they?
No,
Go on.
try it. Go on, give it-
No,
But-
I'm willing to hear
my-
the
look,
argument actually.
My thing for Foden was, I actually really wasn't that impressed by Foden in the international tournament that just went by, the Euros last summer. I forgot what it was called. And the one guy that I think, although he didn't start that often, but was really impactful as a sub, was Jack Grealish. I specifically remember, was it Germany? There's one game in coming on and causing havoc down the left wing and assisting for Harry Kane. And so just based on that, and don't get me wrong, I still think Phil Foden is the better player in attributes-wise and ability, but just based on his impactfulness as a substitute, I think Grealish is going to be the guy that will do better than Foden.
I think
if you're going to start,
I think that's
if
a
you're
really good
starting
point.
them, I would actually probably start Foden over Grealish, but from an impact sub,
I
I'll be
think
taking Grealish.
I kind of agree with you, but the point
like
I
that
would have with Foden is that he can offer cover in all three of these roles.
Yeah.
I can't see Jack Grealish coming on as a right winger to replace Saka.
No, sure, but I still think he's not going to have as much of an impact as Jack Grealish will in that left wing role.
I don't
He
think
could
that's
also
the
come
case.
on and Sterling could go over to the right and he goes on the left.
I-
He can't cover
I was-
Kane, but I don't think Foden
Or
could
Sterling
adequately
can
cover
go,
Kane.
think
and
Green-
Sterling can go into
I think this
middle as
idea
well.
that Foden can play up front is bull.
I honestly think from sorry,
He's never done
I was
it
gonna
to a
say,
good standard.
From the Euros tournament, I think there was a lot of pressure on Foden.
There was a lot of pressure, I will give you
him
that.
changing his hair,
Yeah.
and then the
Just the Gaza stuff, yeah, people- That was
your fault, wasn't it? He invited it. He invited
I
it.
think that put a
was
lot.
your
Of,
fault.
I think that put a lot of pressure on him. Yeah.
He
But
invited it.
Yeah, fair enough. But at the same time, I think it's easier.
That say
to-
Stelling?
I think it's
That genuinely says
Jeff
that.
Stelling.
I think
Jeff Stelling.
And let me finish my point.
He'd
Let me
be
finish my
awful
point.
on the right. What are you doing?
No, I think it's easier to have an impact on a game when you have a role like Grealish, when you're almost given the last 20, 15 minutes to just
then
run
why
right.
would-
To run right. Foden was.
But we're
So
talking
you're
about.
saying-
what I'm
so you're
saying.
saying he's a
No,
specialist in the role Zach's giving him?
No. But I'm saying
How
if you
awful.
but I'm saying if you give Foden that role, and we've seen it this season, especially
I don't think
when
Foden
he's
is
come
the substitute
when we've
player.
He's
seen
saying
him
that
play.
Pep Guardiola's ruined his spontaneity. He's just got him playing like a robot. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying if you give him that same role that Grealish had in the Euros, I think he would have the same impact, and he could
I
have
really-
impact like Joe
I
said.
don't
in
know.
March.
I don't know.
I actually don't
think
think
that's
Jack
true.
Grealish had as big an impact as a sub as you're making out.
Oh, I think-
I actually think there was 2 or
think it
3
was
times
one or-
in the 6 or 7 games where he came on and was pretty
So
underwhelming.
half the time he was pretty good.
But Grealish is better at certain things. Like, so for instance, if your team is basically getting stuck, bogged down in midfield, and you need somebody to drive you on into the final third, I would always pick Grealish over Foden every day. Whereas if my team is in the final third and we're trying to pick our way through, I'd bring on Foden.
Is anyone going to convert to Grealish? It was a decent
I
pitch.
think it's a good. I think it's a
It was
good
a-
shout.
it
I
was a
think it's a
good shout, I'm
totally
not gonna
fair
lie, but
argument,
I
to be
don't-
honest with you.
There's also an argument
Because-
for Sancho, man. I was very close to putting Sancho for Sancho.
Or for
Not yet,
anybody with
not yet.
any upper body strength.
But the way it's looking,
This
the way
is the
it's looking for
weakest
Sancho,
lineup I've
He's
ever
looking
seen.
good. Sancho's looking
Kane's
good,
strong.
but I think it's just because United are crap.
At the moment, you three get the points. If someone converts to Team Jalab, I'm going to give Jalab 4 points, which probably means he wins the show. So really high stakes.
Probably not
3,
gonna do that.
2, 1.
No one's gonna do
Bring
that,
it down
are
the
they?
gavel.
No one's gonna do that.
Unlucky. Right, we were going to do round 3, but we actually don't have time.
What is it?
Round 3 was going to be the rating game again. It was going to be vicious. Claws were going to be out. Sam was going to get his retribution.
Well, we don't have time. Okay, we've got 5 minutes. Come on.
It's
We've
12:59.
got
We
5
booked this
minutes.
place to 1 o'clock.
No, it's not.
We've got to pack up.
Oh, they could. Yeah, but they left the stuff here.
All right, should we have one question?
One
One
question.
question.
We're going to do one.
If we don't use it, we don't
Rating
use
game.
it.
Okay,
Come on
right.
and do it.
Okay, round 3 is the rating game. Then it's all to play for. I need to pick one of these 3 questions. We know the premise of the rating game by now, right? I mean, people at home, if you don't, it's the aim of this round is carnage. Quite frankly, you rank the people around this table 1 to 4.
Oh, it's this round.
This is classic, Chris.
for something
We've
that
got
I
no
give you.
time. 5 minutes speech. Let us rate each other.
Classic Liam.
Sam, 4.
Man Strauss disqualified from this round. for his lip. Right, here we go. Who relies on stats the most to form their football opinions?
Definitely not me.
1 to 4. Let's go. Hail Mary. Whoever does well in this round can take all the points, all the belts.
Reveal.
3, 2, 1, go.
Pat has me at a higher standard than I do
get
myself.
that way
Get Zach
down.
lower than that.
way down.
Name your
Seriously.
stat apart from players' ages.
Go on then, hammer it out.
If I went through the last 100 opinions you've given me about footballers, 99 of them are based on spite, and one of them would be based on
Yeah,
stats.
true. But I
Mine
don't
is eye
necessarily, can I
test.
just say I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I
Yeah,
think
no,
you
not
can
at all.
rely
It's not a bad
and you
thing.
base it off of stats as well as combining it with football knowledge. I think Pat does that very eloquently.
Yeah.
I think I'm a nice little combination of that as well. Sam, don't ever look at football stats. You don't
Not
care,
really.
don't like him, hates XG, vile, repugnant,
count.
doesn't like
Only score on that
any of
matters is the top one.
Let's
And-
not go too far. I do use some stats.
And
you know what I
Zach's
mean?
are
Goals
purely
and assists.
agenda driven. Zach's a
not
purely
agenda
Zach's
driven?
yours are so agenda driven.
Agenda-driven.
Suddenly, yeah. Oh, here comes one about Romelu Lukaku. Here comes another one about Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. Agenda driven stats.
He looks so betrayed.
Agenda driven
Let's
stats.
go back a few
bro.
episodes when we did the thing of who's he's flipping me number one.
That's it.
If that's how he explains it, fair enough.
Why are you rubbing your order up?
I thought we were done.
He shut the town. Joe's betrayal's finished him up. He's supposed to be his best mate.
He's gone.
Fair
No,
play.
to be fair, me,
But I had myself at third as well,
Me, Joe,
so
and
like-
Zach had the same list. I think me and Zach do use stats, but these lot just use it.
I
way
also
more.
think Pat just holds me in a higher regard
Yeah.
than I do myself.
No,
in
because
life.
I don't think because you think that I'm using this like from good to bad, and that's not true at all. Like I think I use stats the most because like basically when you're writing like a bunch of
Yeah,
scripts
you
a
do
week,
stay in your head.
you can't watch a million
Yeah,
games,
my
right? So you have to
Sam,
use them.
look what he's
Sam,
doing today.
Sam is just like.
Welcome back to Snapchat, ladies and gentlemen.
What is the narrative on football Twitter? That is Sam's belief.
Hell yeah.
And like I say, Joe is kind of like, who will this piss off the most?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who can
yeah.
I
I think I'm
rat
quite
on
level-headed.
But Joe probably does have the best blend of the two, I guess.
Yeah. You are. I think you're pretty.
I
decent.
think-
strong
You lot are
blend.
good blenders. Do you know what I mean?
Thanks,
Oh, that
guys.
started out up here and it's ended really amicable. Yeah, I think that's a lovely place to end the show. Scores at the doors then. We have joint winners, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
I can announce there has been a full Patrick Van Straten remontada and redemption for Obaseki.
Come on.
This side of the table
Scum.
have been on a similar wavelength today.
No,
and
we have, we have.
Have they? Or have they looked at each other's boards?
This
Or do
guy
they-
was flipping
Or do
his
they
board.
all?
That is not what I heard.
Or do they all refuse?
let's get on with it, can we?
refuse to change their
Christ.
names?
I know. That's how we're finishing this episode. Zach accusing this side of the table of cheating. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.